Right, let's just get straight into this. I want to start with a really bold, honestly quite liberating statement. You absolutely do not need a traditional garden to grow a shocking amount of real, fresh food. Seriously. Gardeners all over the UK, the US, Australia, and really all around the world are quietly figuring out this secret. We're talking about completely transforming even the tiniest outdoor spaces, balconies, little patios, even just a sunny doorstep, into these incredibly productive food gardens. It's really not about how much space you have, it's entirely about how you use it.
And here's the best part. A few well-chosen pots can actually outproduce a traditional garden bed. I know, that sounds a bit crazy, but it will genuinely surprise you. In this explainer, we're going to walk through the 9 specific vegetables that make this magic happen. But I want to plant a little seed of curiosity for you right now. The 9th and final vegetable on our list today, well, it's something most folks would never, ever expect to see growing in a pot. Yet, it regularly produces more food than plants 3 times its size growing out in the open ground. Stick around for that one because that revelation kind of changes everything.
Now, before we get to the actual vegetables, we need to understand exactly why this works so wonderfully well. The contrast here is just striking. You see, growing in containers, it isn't a compromise at all. It's a deliberate choice. Out in the open ground, you're pretty much at the mercy of nature, right? Unpredictable local soil, pests digging around underground, and well, the sun is where the sun is. But with containers, you have total control. You dictate the soil mix, the drainage, the temperature. You can literally just pick up your garden and move it to chase the sun.
And that control gives you a massive, massive advantage. It's thanks to something called the heat effect. Put simply, dark pots absorb the sun's warmth and transfer all that lovely heat straight down to the plant's root zone. So for those heat-loving vegetables, it acts like a natural engine. It literally pushes your harvest weeks ahead of anything that's planted in the cold ground. It's simple, it's effective, and man is it exciting. Okay, let's get to our very first vegetable.
Number 1 is the classic cherry tomato. Honestly, if I could only grow one thing in a container for the rest of my life, this would absolutely be it. A single, well-managed cherry tomato plant in a 5-gallon pot can pump out an astonishing 200 to 400 fruits in just one season. The real trick here is choosing compact varieties that are specifically bred for pots. Think Tumbling Tom or Tiny Tim. But here's your crucial, absolutely vital practical tip. Water them daily during the summer heat. Why? Because consistent watering completely avoids a heartbreaking issue called blossom end rot, which is where the bottoms of your tomatoes turn black from calcium deficiency. Just give them consistent water and sun, and they'll reward you with hundreds of sweet little tomatoes. They're brilliant.
Let's move on to our second vegetable and see how this builds. Chili peppers. They are perhaps the most efficient plant on our entire list. Compact varieties like Demon Red or Apache, well, they just thrive in the contained warmth of a pot. And here's a delightful little fact that always makes people smile. Did you know chili plants can be overwintered indoors? Yeah! You plant it once, bring it inside before the first frost, and it'll produce even more peppers for you year after year. Just remember their golden rule. Unlike our thirsty tomatoes, chilies absolutely hate wet feet. Let that top inch of soil dry out completely between waterings. Treat them right, and they are an absolute joy to grow.
Now, we're really just getting started, but here's a quick, gentle reminder for you. The most unexpected, highest-yielding vegetable of them all is still waiting for you at the end of this list. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
Okay, vegetable number 3 is lettuce. And this is where containers genuinely outshine traditional garden beds. Growing lettuce in a pot, especially raised off the ground, means you almost entirely dodge the dreaded slugs and you stop dirty soil from splashing up onto your clean leaves. But the real magic here is the cut and come again method. By simply snipping off the outer leaves with scissors and leaving the center completely untouched, the plant just keeps regrowing. You can easily pull 8 to 10 continuous harvests from a single pot. It is quite literally the gift that keeps on giving. Fantastic stuff.
Moving right along, the crucial point for our fourth vegetable, cucumbers, is picking the right variety. Standard cucumbers love to sprawl and take over the whole yard, right? But bush varieties like Space Master or Patio Snacker are bred specifically for small spaces. Pop one plant in a good pot and it'll give you a steady harvest of 10 to 15 cucumbers over the summer. The secret sauce here? Well, cucumbers are incredibly thirsty plants, so add a nice layer of straw mulch right on top of the soil. That locks in the heavy moisture they crave, and those cucumbers will just keep rolling in, wave after wave. It's incredibly satisfying to watch.
We are halfway through our list now, and you're doing great. Just a warm reminder though, that massive surprise waiting at number 9 is getting closer, and it is going to completely change how you view small space growing forever.
Coming in at number 5, we have perhaps the most underrated container crop in existence, spring onions.
You can grow these little guys in almost anything. A simple window box is absolutely perfect. What makes them so exceptional is succession planting. Basically, if you sow a small pinch of seeds every 3 weeks, you are going to have a continuous, essentially zero-cost harvest sitting right there on your windowsill. And, much like our lettuce, here is a fantastic little secret. You can just snip the green tops off for your salads or stir-fries, and the white base in the soil will simply regrow. It's incredibly rewarding and practically no effort.
Vegetable number 6 is runner beans. Now, I know there's this old myth out there that runner beans require massive amounts of space. But actually, when you use a large container and set up a really simple wigwam trellis, just 4 bamboo canes tied at the top, they become one of the highest yielding crops for a small area. You want to look for heritage dwarf varieties like Hestia, which stay nice and compact but still produce enormous crops. And here is your practical tip, the absolute golden rule of runner beans. Keep picking. The more you harvest, the more the plant produces. If you stop picking, it stops growing. Keep at it, and they'll feed you for weeks on end.
We are nearly there, folks. Just 2 more wonderful plants to go, and then the biggest, most extraordinary container secret on our list is finally gonna be revealed.
Vegetable number 7 is the humble radish, and it easily earns its place for one remarkable reason. It's absolutely unmatched speed. A radish goes from a tiny seed to ready to harvest in just 3 to 4 weeks. No joke. This makes them the ultimate zero-effort gap filler. So while you're waiting for your slower plants, like those tomatoes, to grow up, just scatter a pinch of radish seeds around the bare edges of the pot. They'll be ready to eat before the main plant even needs that space. It's incredibly efficient and honestly such a lovely crunchy addition to any summer salad.
Now, vegetable number 8 is kale. And I want to slow down just a little bit here because nothing else produces quite as much food for quite as long from such a wonderfully small space. A single potted kale plant harvested using that exact same cut and come again method we talked about earlier can provide you with fresh, sweet greens for 6 to 9 whole months. It is incredibly hardy and handles the cold just beautifully. In fact, a delightful little secret about kale is that the leaves actually get noticeably sweeter after a winter frost. Just amazing. Now, take a breath, because our most generous, most surprising plant of all is coming up next.
And here we are, the ultimate container surprise, dwarf courgettes.
This is the one that completely shatters expectations. In a traditional garden bed, a standard courgette plant is notorious for just taking over massive amounts of space, sprawling like 2 meters in every direction. Most people naturally assume growing them in a pot is entirely out of the question. But dwarf varieties? They change the rules entirely. A specific dwarf variety like 8-ball, grown in a large pot, will easily give you 10 to 20 courgettes from just a single plant. Think about that. And because you control the soil and the drainage, you completely avoid the powdery mildew and root rot that ends up ruining so many garden-grown courgettes. The only real trick? Just pick the fruits while they're small. They taste so much sweeter, and it signals the plant to keep on producing. Let me tell you, once a gardener discovers what a dwarf courgette in a large container can produce, they rarely go back to growing them any other way. It is a true game changer.
So, now that you know the 9 magical vegetables, I want to confidently guide you through 3 strictly practical rules to guarantee your success. Don't worry, it's just basic physics, and it's completely achievable for anyone, even if you've never, ever tried container growing before. Rule 1. Container size. When in doubt, just go bigger. A cramped root system simply cannot support a heavy harvest. Rule 2. Drainage. Having holes in the bottom of your pot is absolutely non-negotiable. Waterlogged roots will end your harvest incredibly fast. And Rule 3. Soil mix. Please never use heavy garden dirt in a pot. Always use a high-quality, peat-free compost mixed with a little perlite for drainage. Simple, right?
I really want this explainer to serve as your official permission to start. You have permission to grow real, delicious food without a garden, without any fancy special equipment, and without it feeling like hard work. Literally, all it takes to begin is 1 pot, 1 plant, and 1 season. That is it. If you've enjoyed discovering these secrets with me today, please give this a like and subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach more learners just like you. And please drop a comment below telling me which of these 9 vegetables you're going to try first in a pot. I read every single one of them. Take care and happy growing.